I am most excited when the eclipses are coming. Though for many of us, it's frightening. Because when we talk about the eclipses, the solar or the lunar eclipses, the first impression that we get is, oh, there's going to be a hullabaloo around, there's going to be a lot of chaos around, things are going to be changing, there are going to be, the situations change, the rules and regulations of the organizations change. So the eclipses are around our corner on the 1st of September as well as on the 16th of September. The lunar eclipse, which is imminent on 16th of September, and it affects 100% all zodiac signs, because there is a moon element, there's a water element in each one of us. And it's not in any degrees, or 60% of our body consists of water, liquid. And when the lunar eclipse comes, it actually affects 100% by and large everybody. Now, just remember and just analyze that 15 days earlier on the 1st was the solar eclipse, which shook our roots externally. Now imagine the effect it has on our emotions, because lunar eclipse completely directly affects the emotional being in ourselves. The roots are shaken. The policies have changed. Things around you you all have been shaken out of your comfort zone. How do I handle this? The strong handle it, the weak crumble under it. Now what are you, the strong or the weak or the in-between? Now the in-between people are completely confused, they really don't know what is happening with them. So lunar eclipse affects the emotional being in you. And why is it important? It is important because your outer world has been shaken. How you are going to handle this is completely the onus of the internal world inside you. But again, like the solar eclipse is always different and handled differently by men, and the lunar eclipse also is handled differently by men and by women. Now, how does the lunar eclipse affect a man? You must have come across men of 3 different categories. Men who are emotional, men who are unemotional, or they think they are unemotional and strong, and men who are actually confused in knowing whether they are emotional or they are unemotional. So emotional, unemotional, and the confused lot. Because if you look at Asian men especially, or if you look at men by and large, they're conditioned in such a way that emotions cannot be shown to the world, or should not be shown to the world. Now, cannot be shown to the world or should not to be shown to the world is all about the conditioning that you had in life. When the lunar eclipse is actually affecting the human beings at large, or the men at large, what happens, irrespective of whether a person is emotional or not emotional or is confused, he definitely starts thinking internally what is affecting him and how he needs to rectify so that he can actually become a strong, happy individual. So he starts working rationally, he starts working practically. That is how you would have realized that some men who have actually taken a vow or actually made up their minds never to get married, by the time they are 50 or they are around 55, 60, especially when the lunar energies have impacted their internal system and their external, the solar energies have uprooted them, that is the time they realize that they need a companionship. Should they address this? Or they start thinking internally that why the people around them are not happy, and should they do something different to make them happy? Because the bottom line is, if people around you are happy, would you be happy? So the lunar eclipse, actually it is a universal way, or I would say the universe's way of making us realize that what is it deep inside that would make us happy. So our desires come to the forefront, and sometimes situations which we have been, keeping it within ourselves like a volcano, they tend to erupt. And if you are large-hearted, and if you feel you have the courage, you go and mend the broken bridges. You go and apologize, and you extend olive branches to the relationships probably which you have hurt when you were in that solar period. So that is why it is very well said that during the lunar periods, the strong survive, the weak wither away. That's when a man realizes what is the depth of his emotions. A man realizes, does he want or does he doesn't want? Can he do with or can he do without? A man wakes up to his own, the yin inside him. The man wakes up to the female part of him. It does awaken. See, we are all a mixture of male and female. The yin and the yang energy. So man wakes up to the yin energy in him, and he realizes that these are the things that he is working for. These are the things that he needs. And during the solar eclipse, these are the things that clearly uprooted him. And now is the time for him to mend, for him to extend the olive branch, to mend the broken bridges, and to even concentrate on relationships, be they personal or be they professional. So a man becomes more practical, more realistic. And that's what gives him the clue to happiness once the lunar energies settle. A very strong spiritual phenomena, or in the astrology, what goes around again, I would say, is about the dragon's head and the dragon's tail, which is known as the Rahu and Ketu, very closely affected to the moon's nodes. They're also known as moon's nodes. And lunar energy, everything to do with moon, everything to do with the internal energies or the water element in your body. Rahu, Ketu, they by sem, according to the spiritual astrology, is again the demons, the ghosts, the unnatural things are happening to a person, or you are taken over or possessed by the energies which are negative. This is all a myth. It has got nothing to do with that. You are not taken over by unnatural energies. Basically, you become so introspective, and the people who are weak tend to go so much introvert or within their shell that taking them out becomes a problem. So they are not possessed. They are just weak, and they do require strong people around them to pull them out. That is why during the lunar eclipses or during the solar eclipse, the people who are suffering from mental energies become very aggressive, become very violent. Because the solar energy has sucked up and drained them of the water energy, so they are dehydrated. And the lunar energies are actually bringing storm. So there is a kind of a volcanic surge which wants the emotions that are wanting to flee in the week, but they cannot do that. They cannot give vent to their emotions, thus affecting the brains. A little understanding of this will help you not get angry with the people who are very weak emotionally. You just you need to leave them alone. And for females who know, or we all know ourselves, whether I'm a person who's very strong in my emotions or a strong-minded person, or whether I'm a emotionally weak person. Now, I know for myself that I am emotionally a weak person, but my emotions are the weakest during the lunar eclipse. I do not want people to take advantage of me, so I go out for a holiday and I spend my time either at a spa, or I spend my time by having a lone holiday for myself, thus making me introspective and making me more wiser, rather than getting into the myths that something has possessed me. So even if the moon nodes are very closely affected and associated with the lunar eclipse, yet they've got nothing to do with the ghosts or the demons. especially for people who are spiritual and who believe in being correct.